Welcome back, everybody, to the fourth part of my top 50 albums of 2017. I hope you're enjoying this so far as much as I've been creating this. I do apologize if I keep stuttering or talking too fast on some of this stuff. I'm again trying to consolidate these videos so they're not 30 to 40 minutes long like my previous time. I'm doing pretty well. I've been hitting around 20 minutes each time, so I hope that's good enough for you guys. So without further ado, we're going to keep rolling right on. Again, just gotta state these two quick things. It's only CDs I've listened to from 2017, and it's only CDs that I personally like. It's my personal opinion. This is my personal list. You can make your own if you would like. If you do disagree, of course you can put in the comments, but please be civil. I would rather hear what your favorite CDs are rather than you trying to tear down mine. So without further ado, we're going to look at the 10 that just missed the top 10. And there's some pretty good ones in there. So we're going to start with number 20, which is Rainbow by Kesha. I did not think I was going to like this CD. I'm not really have ever been a Kesha fan. Not that I don't appreciate her work. It's just it's never been up my alley. But a good friend of mine showed me Praying, and my fucking God, it was a powerful song, and it got me interested in the CD. And this was not something that I expected from Kesha, but I'm glad that she's finally taken this step and shown her versatility as a musician, rather than just doing a lot of just quirky pop songs. And there's still some of that on there, but there's a lot of really is also just versatile all over. Like Bastards as a first song, talking about the bastards that let you down, don't let them let you down. Basically like an anthem song, as if you would like a 60s protest anthem song that has a lot of quirky stuff on there. And then there's Let 'Em Talk, which is guest starred by the Eagles of Death Metal. And if you don't know that band, it's one of Josh Ohm's side bands, the guy from Queens of the Stone Age. So it's really cool to see them on there. And there's another song that they do called Boogie Feet. Both of them so catchy, so rocky, and something that's really shows just how versatile she can be as a songwriter. And then you have Woman, which has the Dap King horns, so it's more of a funky song. It doesn't really work for her, but I still really like it. And then you have Learn to Let Go, which is a little bit more poppy. Rainbow, which is a beautiful song. Hunt You Down, which is, kind of country-ish, being like, if you ever mess with me, I'm going to hunt you down. So it's funny. You got Old Flames, Can't Hold a Candle to You, another country-ish song with Dolly Parton on it. Godzilla, which is just another funny acoustic song talking about someone who's kind of like Godzilla and what would you do if you fell in love with Godzilla. And then ends up with Spaceship, which is another quirky song. Just in general, very versatile CD that strays from all the pop norms, and that's why I love it so much. Again, it's not as high as everybody else's because I did have other ones I personally loved better, and there are some songs that go into that pop cliche. But man, I'm curious to see what she can create next, if she can continue doing stuff like that. And it's such a personal CD, after everything she's went through. I'm glad that it's getting the accolades that it deserves. So now we're on to number 19, and another CD that I did not expect to be here, Harry Styles' self-titled album. I've never really listened to One Direction. I've never really been a fan of them, never claimed to be. So when I saw this on Rolling Stone's top 50 albums, it's like, oh, this is just going to be another pop CD. Um, but it's not. It's a rock CD, and it's a very damn good rock CD on its own because it has a lot of really cool sounds, and it's not all just like one style of rock. You got something like Meet Me in the Hallway, which is very soft acoustic music. Then you have Sign of the Times, which is this like power ballad. I don't really like it that much, but I know it's all over the radio. But still a good song. Carolina, which is more harder rock. You have Two Ghosts, another beautiful song. Sweet Creature, another beautiful acoustic. Kiwi, that has more of an Oasis feel to it. Ever Since New York, another um, cool acoustic one with cool harmonies. And then the end of it, just all solid. Never overstays its welcome. Um, just there are some, again, songs I don't like as much on there, but another solid CD, another solid rock CD from out of nowhere. So I highly recommend it. This is where we're getting to the good stuff. So definitely take a look. You will be surprised, but it's all good. All right. So number 18 is Sam Smith, the thrill of it all. It may not be as great as his previous CD, In the Lonely Hour, but this one for me works so much better than that last one. It's not going to have the greatest of singles. Nothing's going to replace all of his great singles from the last album. Stay With Me, Lay Me Down. You know, but at the same time, this is a more stripped down sound, and for me, this shows his voice so much better. Um, what kind of like isn't as good in terms of popularity, this is a powerhouse of showing what vocals can truly do and um, how you can connect to people through music. Uh, just wow, just like so many good songs to show off his voice. Too Good at Goodbyes, Say It First, Midnight Train, Burning, Palace. The one that got me the most is definitely Palace. Um, just like, just listen to it. You may not like the songs as much, and I can definitely tell they aren't, the most complex songs, but they are great, love songs and talking about love in general, and like his voice just works so well on this album. Uh, Definitely just listen to it for the voice. It's so sweet. Uh, so, number 17, we have Vince Staples' Big Fish Theory. This also is another one that blew me away. I have a couple other raps albums that are uh, better on this per se, but Vince Staples came out of nowhere for me. I hadn't heard of him before. The first time I heard of him was on the Gorillaz' new album Humans, which you may hear at some point in the near future on my top 50 albums. Uh, but he had such a really good cameo on that CD, and I wanted to give this one a try. And my God, there are so many good songs on this album. From and what I love more about it is the musical feel works so well with his voice and his style. He has like a faster type of delivery, and this works so well with the music. Crabs in the Bucket is so cool. Such a great opening song. Big Fish, not my favorite in terms of singles, but still another really good song. Yeah, Right is probably his best song on there, and also probably the Kendrick Lamar's best cameo of the year. Such a good verse that he raps on. If anything, just listen to that song because it's really cool. the way that Kendrick uses the beat in this song. Party People, uh, Homage, Bit Bagbach, Rain Came Come Down. The ending of this album is really good. The middle is a little bit shaky, but a very, very competent album. Deals with a lot about political issues as well as just fun party stuff and talking about money and stuff like that. Fun. The music works so well with the CD. So take a look if you haven't already. Number 16 is Melodrama by Lorde. Another CD that I'm not as high as other people, but still see it as a really good album. It's a really interesting concept about basically a span of 24 hours of a party, and deals with a lot of different issues. And I love her approach so much more than Lana Del Rey. Um, I think it's a lot of the way that she emotes is much better to me than Lana Del Rey. And you can feel it on a lot of these songs, on Liability, on Sober, on Hard Feelings, on Writer in the Dark. Talking about falling in love with someone and someone thinking that you're a liability, or getting back at someone being like, who you fell in love with a writer. What do you think you're gonna hear? It ends up in a happier place at the end. You definitely feel the turmoil in general in her lyrics, and the music works so well with all of that. Not really a single song on there that is weak. It's just, again, sometimes it's a little bit too poppy for me. Their first song, Greenlight, isn't as good, but everything works very well. I can see why everyone loves it, and I can see why it's up for Album of the Year. I don't think it's going to make it, but it's a really good CD, worth your time if you haven't listened to it already. All right, so we are 5 away from the top 10. And the first one, number 15, is Mastodon's Emperor of Sand. So this album has a good sound, but it also has a little bit more to it. So personally, while this is going on, some of the people in the band, their friends and family have been diagnosed with cancer. And a lot of this music, a lot of the concept comes from a place like that. And you can definitely feel the raw emotion in a lot of the songs, just reflecting on mortality and stuff like that. There isn't really a standout song, but that doesn't have to be the case, because this is a really solid metal album that is, has a lot of deep meaning into it, much better than their previous album, and not much more I can say. Just like, if you love this type of music, take a listen to it, and have that in mind, that there is a lot to this album, and a lot of emotion, and the last song on it works very well for this concept. So if you're a metal fan, you have to listen to this album this year. Number 14 is Manchester Orchestra, their album, A Black Mile to the Surface. This is one that came out of nowhere for me. I was just like going through the top 50, and I was throwing some other CDs to listen to while I'm going through the top 50. And I was like, you know what? I really liked their last album, Cope. So let's take a look into it and see how it goes. And from the get-go, I was entranced by this CD. The way I can describe it, it's like indie alternative heavier rock, which is definitely the start of it. And it's an interesting concept as well. This is where you're going to get to the concept albums. And the title itself, A Black Mile to the Sun, is in reference to the town of Lead, South Dakota, which is an old gold mine, mining town that is now the site of the deep underground neutrino experiment, which is on the leading edge of international experiment for neutrino science and proton decay studies. So a lot of interesting stuff, and it deals with talking about that, talking about uh, parenthood, a lot of interesting concepts, and it's done so well and so beautifully and so interestingly, and it just hits all the right parts for me. A lot of interesting songs um, that pit a lot of good energy and a lot of beautiful energy together. So I loved it from the get go. I still love it. I still listen to it every now and again. My favorite song on there is The Alien and also The Sunshine. Those are my two favorites. Though The Grocery, it's weird. All these songs start with but all these songs in general work well. If you're gonna listen to it from start to finish. You're gonna really like it if that's up your alley of like alternative rock, indie rock, in general. Uh, really beautiful sound. Number 13 is, I'm just going to put it in general, From a Room, either volume 1 or 2. I'm just putting them all in general, which is Chris Stapleton's newest 2 albums. Um, this, so like last year with Sturgill Simpson, that one came out of nowhere for me. I love that type of interesting um, country music. And this year, Chris Stapleton came out of nowhere for me, mainly because of just like how much beautiful, um, like how much his beautiful voice works so well with the music that he's doing. Um, it's one of the first times I've listened to country music and I can feel the raw emotion behind what's getting played. I think I like Volume One a little bit more, but either one is so tied together that I can't really put any of them one above the other. But like so many beautiful songs, like Either Way, or I Was Wrong, or Without Your Love, or Death Row from the first album. From the second album, Scarecrow in the Garden, Nobody's Lonely Tonight, A Simple Song, another beautiful one, Drunkard's Prayer. All these are like, they're somewhat cliched, I get that, but what Chris Stapleton does is his voice brings so much energy and so much needed beauty and emotion to these songs. Um, I'm not usually a big country fan, but I love this. This was so good. So, you know, this is one where you can maybe pick and choose for songs, but try to listen to both. Neither of them are too long. If you put both of them together, they're an hour, and that's an hour, after listening to 18 songs. Pretty good, and a lot of bang for your buck if you listen to both. Blew me away. Definitely going to listen to more Chris Stapleton in the near future. But sadly, just missed the top 10, just like these next two, which are for number 12, which is the new Pornographers, Whiteout Conditions. All I can say for this one is this one just like has been on my mind. It's so solid as an indie pop CD, indie rock CD, um, that like when I kept thinking through it, I couldn't think of really any negatives to the CD. Every song is solid. Every song has its own charisma and just really good energy. Um, so in general, just like a really really solid CD that helps it almost make the top 10. The only thing that brings it down a little bit is it doesn't really have a standout single, which is fine, but it's just like it's a lot of really solid songs without any of them being an A plus. But even still, just like going through all of it, and like getting to 9, 10, and 11, like Juke Clockwise and Avalanche Alley, and still being like, wow, these are really good songs. Um, it helps it stay almost in the top 10, but just missing the mark. And then finally, number 11, we have Hame, Something to Tell You. Hame, um, whatever you want to call them. They are a pop rock group with members that are all sisters. You have Alana, Danielle, and Este Haim. And they are basically this generation's Hanson brothers, if you will. But this album, just another feel good album with a lot of really great songs on it. Um, Again, nothing that's remotely like bad, maybe one bad song. Um, but with even that one bad song, there's still a lot of really good stuff on there. Want You Back is a fantastic single. So is a little of your love, and then even the stuff that is not single. Walking Away, awesome song that actually reminds me of a song from Spring Awakening. Found It in Silence is cool. Kept Me Crying. You Never Know. All these really, really solid songs. This was literally in my top 10 until yesterday. I had to knock it off for another one. So this is a really solid CD, and I don't understand why people aren't giving it as much attention as it should. If you love like indie rock, like folky rock, and if you love Hanson, if you love beautiful vocals, if you love beautiful harmonies, this is a perfect CD for you. It just barely misses the top 10. So, you know, I'm setting myself up for a really, really cool top 10, and I'm excited for all of you to see it. But I'll have to wait until tomorrow. So until then, if you like what you see, of course, like the video, comment on what your top 10 is or what other CDs you thought I should have in my top 50. Share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and look out for a special video tomorrow with a special guest. So hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you tomorrow for the final part of this top 50 list. Peace.